Bombers dropped hundreds of bombs over Berlin, the explosions ripping through the city, heralding the success of the Soviet plan. At last, the Germans were getting a taste of their own medicine. On the ground, German forces were just now jolting awake. Air raid sirens shrieked through the night sky. Beams from searchlights frantically swept the darkness, and anti-aircraft guns fired blindly into the air. But it was all too late. The Soviet bombers had already completed their mission and were beginning to climb for their return flight. Inside the cockpits, the pilots gazed down at the inferno that was Berlin. Before leaving Berlin's airspace, the crews also dropped a barrage of leaflets, the text on them clearly conveying the Soviet stance. By this point, the Air Force stationed in Berlin was just scrambling to intercept, but the Soviet bombers had already vanished into the night, leaving only chaos and smoke on the ground. Meanwhile, far away at Kahul Airfield on the island of Saaremaa in the Baltic Sea, Lieutenant General Johann was anxiously waiting by the radio. When the message successfully bombed Berlin came through the airwaves, he could no longer contain his emotions, and tears welled up in his eyes. Ever since the war began, the Soviets had been crushed by German air superiority, dealing a heavy blow to the morale of soldiers and civilians alike. The success of this raid finally provided a much-needed release for all the pent-up frustration. On the return journey, the Soviet bomber formation faced significant challenges. While flying through a thunderstorm earlier, 3 planes had veered off course. Because they were under strict radio silence for the entire mission, there was no way to contact them. These 3 aircraft never made it to Berlin. They had to drop their bombs on other German cities along their route and find their own way back. As for the 15 bombers that successfully returned, all of them made it back safely. The success of this raid on Berlin was a massive boost to Soviet morale. Although the bombing caused little actual damage, it was a sharp slap in the face to the Germans.